There we go. It was weird. I pressed the record button like one time and it like doesn't start recording. I press again. Now it starts working. Good morning, happy Friday, everybody. Right. Like my new glass straw. Yeah, I went to the Grace J Boutique pop-up yesterday, which was kind of cool. It took place at somebody's house. There was like a few vendors there. It was kind of cool. Saw some people that I knew. It was awesome seeing them again. And I got this glass straw, and it comes with its own metal pipette. So you stick the thing and you clean it. This got really horrible right away, didn't it? Let's set this down here for the moment. Yeah, I'm worried because it's glass, it's gonna roll off and break, you know. But yeah, that happened. In fact, that's part of my high. Other parts of my high include the fact that I saw a movie last night, went to Elk Room last night, and we had a new episode of Hot Ones. Honestly, if I have a low, it's, okay, so basically I'm going up to Cuba Lake tonight, and I go outside and it is gray. Like, and not like the sort of like uplifting kind of gray where like, you know, that I actually kind of enjoy. Like, no, this is kind of like ominous looking. Like, one way or another, it is going to rain today. Don't get me wrong, I like rain. We need the rain. Plus, if it does rain and I wind up going, and I do go up to the lake, I won't need to water any of the ferns my mom has up there. So that'll definitely save me some time for, you know, getting ready for dinner and stuff. And let's see, what would I say is my act of kindness? I would say my act of kindness was getting, I got a few things for my grandmother yesterday for, yeah, because she wants some stuff, and, well, and not everything she wanted was there. I'll probably go back to the store later today and get stuff, but, yeah, I ran some errands for my grandma. That was my act of kindness. So, how about we talk about yesterday's episode of Hot Ones? Because Melissa McCarthy handled the hot sauce exactly the way you think she would, which, whoo. I tell you what though, yeah, I will give Melissa McCarthy all the credit in the world. She made it through. Like, she didn't quit at all. Like, she legit made it through. Although it was kind of funny when at I think it was at Wing 7, where she immediately looks at Sean and flips him the bird. That was funny. But yeah, yesterday's episode was great. I mean, let's be honest. Melissa McCarthy's there to help promote the release of The Little Mermaid, as she plays Ursula. Easily one of the greatest Disney villains of all time. And not only is Ursula one of the greatest Disney villains of all time, but Melissa McCarthy had the very distinct honor and privilege to therefore sing Ursula's iconic number, Poor Unfortunate Souls. Arguably one of the greatest villain songs ever written. In fact, Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, put that as, I believe, number 5 on his top 11 villain songs of all time. I believe he had Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame as number 1. Actually, I used to know that whole list. I mean, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch was number 11. Shiver My Timbers from Muppet Treasure Island was number 10. But, that's not a villain song. Okay, you know, I'm getting distracted. I should probably keep going. I have a lot to talk about here. She talked about signing up for acting classes with Michael Harney, and she explained, like, she's the reason why, like, she's an actor, Melissa McCarthy is, and, you know, he taught her how to prepare for, you know, a role. Actually, for those of you who don't know, and I actually did forget this about Melissa McCarthy, but she's hosted SNL 5 times. She's actually part of the 5-Timer Club. And Sean asked, like, what's the closest you've ever legit flown to the sun? As in, like, what's like the one time you thought, oh, this is crazy? And it was on the 40th anniversary special for SNL, where Tina Fey, Jane Curtin, and Amy Poehler are doing the news, and Melissa McCarthy dresses up as Chris Farley's legendary skit of "In the end down by the river," and right as she was about to go on, her knees started to buckle. Which, I mean, look, I've been nervous plenty of times. And believe me, stuff like that can be pretty crippling. Never have I had my knees buckle though. So the fact, like, it was so big that it got her, like, that's pretty serious. She talked about surviving, living through a Plainfield tornado in Plainfield, Illinois. How everyone was mad at her and her husband for wearing tracksuits at this one extravagant Hollywood event. Although it was an iconic photo, because in that photo, there's like a woman in yellow. And a while later, Melissa McCarthy is at a pharmacy. That woman walks up to her and she's like, I was the one who was wearing yellow. And she's like, okay. Like, she didn't know, like, what was going on for like that she got. This was I'm checking my notes right here. Oh, this is good. She elaborated on the saying she once, something she said a few years back, when she says, we're in a lot of trouble if the world becomes cops and capes and horror and grim. Basically, what she meant by that is, we need to keep variety in what we have for entertainment. Because, believe it or not, there are a lot of people who see and view comedy as either the absolute lowest form of entertainment or not remotely entertaining at all. Now, personally, I do see where they come from, because there are times when a comedy is bad, it's really bad. And you know what? Doug Walker actually mentioned this when he did his review on Master of Disguise, the nostalgia critic episode of Master of Disguise. And he said, to review a bad comedy is actually one of the hardest things to review. Because there are only so many times when you can say, that's not funny. On top of that, there's only so much that the person can take. So if there are people out there who view comedy as a very low form of entertainment, or just don't see comedy as entertaining at all, I get it. But believe me when I tell you that there are a lot of good comedies out there. I even talked about some good comedies doing these videos myself. And we need that. We need a smile. That's what we need in life. We need to find some opportunity to have fun and smile every day. Funny enough, I was going to save this for day 2000, which is next week, by the way. But whenever I do these videos, I may not necessarily show it sometimes, but believe me when I tell you, I have the most fun doing this. Like, this is why, like, I smile every day. It is. This is how I have, even if it's only for not even, a half hour, well, sometimes more than a half hour, but, just like this little bit right here, it's just good old-fashioned fun. And you need that. Fun is what brings people together. Comedy is what brings people together. And who says a comedy can't be fun? So there you go. This is actually something I didn't know about Melissa McCarthy in preparing for Bridesmaids, which, frankly, I knew there was going to be a Bridesmaids-related question. How would there not be? Again, I really should do a MoReas on Bridesmaids. Guy Fieri actually served as inspiration for Megan, her character, in Bridesmaids. Just like confidence being at an all-time high. Not that Guy Fieri is actually like that. Well, before I continue, not that Guy Fieri is actually like this, but confidence needs to be at an all-time high. Self-awareness needs to be at an all-time low. And you gotta try and feel that sweet spot right in the middle of that. In fact, that's actually why she wears the kanga, that really funny-looking hat in the movie all the time. And she's great. Spoiler alert, when I talk about Bridesmaids, I'm totally going to talk about how Melissa McCarthy got nominated for an Oscar for that movie. Really, it's crazy. She talked about how crazy... Oh, here's the thing. Now we get to the bomb. And this is when, pretty much this entire question, she was just suffering from the effects of the bomb. But the question was, it involved her love of home renovation shows and, her reaction if it doesn't look right. And she just, it's like watching... It's like a football fan watching football and they're, going ballistic for their team. You know what I mean? That's her for home renovation shows. Useful improv warm-up for acting warm-ups. Basically, because, you probably see this in some movies. It's very clear that in some movies that you see, especially in comedies, you see a lot of improv. And if you know what you're doing, you can actually use that for, preparing for a role in acting. And that's, it's that sort of process of not thinking about what to say before you say it. Which, okay, so full disclosure, a friend of mine from way back would always accuse me of not thinking before I speak. Which, to that I say, that's impossible. You always have to think before you speak. I never really did do a good job at defending myself back in the day. And now you know why I'm so high-strung sometimes. And why I'm hard on myself sometimes. But that's my cross to bear. It's fine. And she absolutely had to talk about why Ursula is misunderstood as a villain. And she feels that she is very misunderstood. And I get it, She was banished. It's like the far corners of the ocean with nothing but flotsam and jetsam. All by herself. Her own family legit exiled her. I mean, keep in mind, I haven't, obviously I'm not going to see the live action remake because, live action Disney remakes are trash. But definitely in the original, I don't think they ever really elaborated why Ursula got banished. Although, I know that the Broadway show does a great job of making the plot twist that King Triton and Ursula are siblings. Plot twist. So, yeah. Probably a better plot twist than anything M. Night Shyamalan made. Oh, okay. Okay, so all in all, Melissa McCarthy, you did it. You got through the wings of death. I already had a lot of respect for you, but now that's been even more validated because, you went through hell, but you did it. You made it to the 10 wings of death. Melissa McCarthy is never going to see any of this. No celebrity's ever going to see any of this, but some of you got, but you guys do. That's awesome. That's really cool. Now I get to the one thing I've kind of been dreading about. So, I did see a movie last night. And for some of you, considering I pretty much trashed the DCEU yesterday, computer turned off. Considering I pretty much trashed the DCEU yesterday, you probably thought I was going to go see Elemental. No. Instead, I saw the movie that was premiering this week with a higher score than either of those two movies. And believe it or not, there is one. And it was the one movie I never even remotely thought was going to be that good. Because it was The Blackening. Now, before I get into this, I should probably tell you, I had a good time watching this movie. I did think this movie was funny, but, and actually, there were some moments where I did feel kind of like, in kind of the willies here, but I could have stood to laugh more. And I also could have stood to be a little more scared. And actually, believe it or not, that's what, literally if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, that's what the critic consensus is. It could stand to be a little funnier, it could stand to be a little scarier, but, and this is actually absolutely true. It knows what it is. That, it's what Doug Walker said. This movie knows exactly what it is. It knows that there are, blacks, it's very aware of the black stereotypes. It is. It is very aware of, the whole trope of, the black guy dies first in a movie. That's actually really clever because one of the things it says on, the marquee is, they can't all be the ones to die first, right? That's actually kind of genius marketing, I'm not gonna lie. But this was good. I really do see why it's getting the praise it's getting. I certainly see why, I can really tell you, I'm not the right demographic for this movie. And what's worse, in that entire theater, it was like me and one other guy sitting near the front. If you're gonna go see The Blackening, you need to see this with an audience. And not just any audience, but the right audience. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but you really do need to see this with an audience that fits into that demographic, let's say. Please don't I don't want to say what it is. I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't want to get canceled. So I'll just say the movie was good. I did have fun. I do recommend it if this style of comedy is your cup of tea, because it's on the edge of those parody movies that are really bad, but it's not. This is good. This is legitimately good. And I really do feel that if you're up for a good laugh, have a good time, and get a little bit spooked, you'll get what you pay for. It's worth it. It's worth the price of admission. And again, it has a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than either Elemental or The Flash right now. So it's clearly doing something right. I hope you all like this video. If you did like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I am very humbled that I made this video for all of you guys who watch and enjoy today. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to me, we're here to let me know right back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.